Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all having a very great day, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about Rick Grimes and reunions. So, you guys know I've been calling the current state of The Walking Dead the reunion phase for quite a while now, and the main reason for that is because, we've had some really awesome reunions over the last 2 years or so, right? We had Maggie and Negan reunite, we had Rick and Michonne reunite, and we had Daryl and Carol reunite, most recently in The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 2 and also the possibility for other reunions as well, right? I mean, there's, Rick and Morgan, Rick and Negan, Rick and Maggie, Rick and Daryl. There's just so many things they could do, right? So I've been calling it the reunion phase because there's just so many reunions that can happen. And in my opinion, the thought of having those reunions, that's a really exciting thing. I think that's probably the most exciting thing that we have going for us right now in the Walking Dead universe. Like, the stories are cool, sure. The stories are awesome, everything like that's good. But man, just having these characters back together, having them reunite, that is a very, very exciting thing to think about. So, yeah, I've been calling it the reunion phase. And so I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the next step of that reunion phase with Rick and all these characters that he could be potentially seeing soon, right? So, and even some other smaller characters too, I'm going to talk about towards the end of the video because it would be really cool to see them with Rick again. So, obviously, there's Morgan and Carol and Daryl and Negan, but I wanted to focus a little bit on Carol here because Rick and Carol have always had a very interesting relationship. If you guys remember during the early seasons of The Walking Dead, Carol and Rick were not that close, really, and Carol actually did not like Rick that much because of the whole Sophia thing. And then, you know, um, Rick ended up kicking Carol out of the group whenever she killed Karen and David in the prison in season 4. Then Carol came back and saved the whole group and stuff like that, and that really helped fix Carol and Rick's relationship. And then I think from that point forward, Rick really knew, like, hey, I can trust her, right? So, and obviously throughout season 5 and 6 of The Walking Dead, Carol and Rick were pretty darn close. So I really do want to see Carol and Rick reunite. I think it would be a really awesome reunion to have happen. So, obviously, there's Daryl and Rick. And Daryl and Rick are brothers pretty much. They are super, super close. And man, we really need this one. I think this is the biggest one. I mean, they're practically brothers at this point. I mean, they are brothers. They love each other. They've been through so much, man. You guys remember this reunion scene that you're seeing right here on your screen in season 7? This was like a very emotional, great scene. And I mean, Daryl and Rick have just such a great relationship and such a great dynamic. And I just love the actors. I love the chemistry. We need this. We need to see this somewhat soon. I hope within the next 2 years we get a Daryl and Rick reunion. I'm not 100% sure about that. Do I really think that's going to happen? Guys, I just don't know, but I really hope it does because we need them back together. And I honestly hope that whatever the next phase of The Walking Dead is, after we get through this whole reunion phase, I hope the next phase is led by Daryl and Rick together with Michonne, possibly Maggie and Negan, Carol, stuff like that, Judith and RJ. There's so much they can still do. There's so many great characters, and then you bring in Mercer and Ezekiel and Eugene, stuff like that. There's just so much potential with The Walking Dead still. I really, really believe if they do decide to come back and do a season 12 and they have all these characters back together, it could be so freaking huge. It could be so big. Whatever the next part of The Walking Dead is going to be, as long as it has those characters in it, it's going to be very successful. Um, the next character I want to think about is Negan because Negan and Rick have a very strange relationship dynamic for sure, right? It's very, very weird, and obviously they hated each other. Rick, promised he was going to kill Negan, and obviously he never did yet. That's another very interesting thing. Will Rick end up actually killing Negan? Well, we don't really know. I could see it happening though. What if Negan ended up getting a little bit deranged or something down the road, and Rick was like, "Hey, I already made you a promise," and just starts going crazy, right? Like he did on Gareth. I do believe eventually in the end, Rick is probably going to kill Negan. I really do. I think it's going to happen eventually. And I think it's just this big kind of like mind screw by Scott Gimple where obviously Rick left the show and Negan went on to redeem himself and he's in a spinoff with Maggie now and everything like that. But I do think very, very far down the road, Rick is going to keep his promise. I really believe that. Um, I just think it's going to happen eventually, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, we need to see Rick and Negan. And if he doesn't end up killing Negan, maybe they'll have a really cool relationship dynamic and get along really well and stuff like that too. We'll have to wait and see though. But yeah, the last relationship that I wanted to talk about with Rick is Maggie. You know, Maggie and Rick have a very interesting relationship as well. They go way back, all the way to the very beginning. And I mean, Maggie and Rick have an awesome dynamic. You know, I really always enjoyed when they were on the screen together. It was actually a very underrated friendship, in my opinion. I think Maggie and Rick really love each other wholeheartedly. And yeah, I would love to see it. I need to see it. We should have all the characters back together soon, man. You know, we don't need to stretch this out anymore. If there's any chance that Scott Gimple sees this, please do not stretch this out anymore. We need to have these reunions happen soon. I promise you. Like, the fans love the show, the fans love the franchise, and we want the characters back together. And then you can do all the cool stories and all the cool stuff you want to do, and everyone's back together. Get all the group back together, and then, yeah, make a new show or Walking Dead season 12 or a new Walking Dead or something. I don't know. Do something cool, man. But get everyone back together and let's freaking go, man. Let's get the reunion phase over with and let's have some cool new stories for at least 3 to 4 to 5 seasons. You know what I mean? Of just awesome Walking Dead content. So, anyways, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Let me know which reunion you're most excited for down below in the comments. Personally, Rick and Daryl for me is going to do it. I think that's just going to be a beautiful, emotional scene. Can't wait to see that. I think even like Daryl and Judith is going to be awesome too, because Daryl and Judith had a really awesome dynamic in season 11 and season 10. So, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I will see you guys in the next one. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I will see you in the next one. Stay safe out there in the crazy world, man. I love you guys. Peace.